Hi everyone, my name is Jake Oakland, and I'm a fellow student at Georgia Southern University and a classmate in building information modeling. This video was assigned to me by our professor Dylan John, and I had the pleasure of working with the professor at Ricon Construction over the summer, and when Revizto was introduced for the project I was working on, I was assigned to become an expert with the software. That entailed completing various training exercises and participating in kickoff meetings with the Revizto team. This provided me with excellent knowledge on Revizto, and I hope that can translate to helping you all become familiar with Revizto as a 3D BIM tool. Now, throughout this video, I'll walk you through how to create, manage, and explore a project, while also providing you with some insights on our coordination process. And by the end of the video, you'll be able to set up a new project, configure team permissions and settings, navigate through the 2D and 3D environments, and use the issue tracker to manage coordination. Now that the introduction is out of the way, let's begin. The first thing you need to do is ensure the Revizto application is downloaded on your computer or laptop, and you have an active Revizto license for the project that you will create. Then you're going to go ahead and open the Revizto application, and it will look something like this. Then what you're going to do is go to the top left, click Project, and click New. This will open up a dialog box that gives you a chance to title your project. You can choose to publish it to the cloud, to a shared location, or to neither of them. Now you can also select which license the project will be held under, and you can also select to import project settings from a previous project. Now on this project that I've been working on with Ricon, it started out as a free trial, so we were working in a sandbox environment. That meant when we went ahead and got our own Revizto license, we had to import the settings from our sandbox environment. Now, a couple of quick notes when you're going to be creating your project. You want to give your project a clear name, because when you're viewing the project, you don't want to wonder what it is. And now for the next one, you also want to make sure that you'll have creator or administrative rights in your project, otherwise you won't be able to go off and create a new one. And so once this project is created, you will be brought to the Revizto workspace page. This is your Revizto workspace page, and your project is viewable here. So you want to go ahead, click on your project, and you want to immediately go to your project team. Now this gives you the opportunity to invite team members and select their project role. All you have to do is click here, invite members, type or select their email, and you'll go ahead and select their roles. Now, when selecting the team member roles for the project, it's important to select the correct one, because these roles define access levels to project features and will ensure proper workflow control. Once all of your roles have been selected, you are now ready to go back into the Revizto application. You are back to the Revizto application. You are ready to upload any 2D drawing sheets or 3D models you have prepared for the project. Now, first, we're going to walk through uploading the 2D drawing sheets. So what you want to do is go ahead and open your project and go up here to 2D, click there, and you will be brought to this this location. And this will not look the same on your screen as you don't have anything uploaded yet. But all you need to really do is make sure that you have your drawing sheets that you want to be uploaded, downloaded on your computer. And once they're there, you will just go ahead and click this little icon right here, import from files, and then go ahead and click and download whatever drawing sheets you want to have in Revizto. Now moving on to uploading your 3D models. This is going to require you to leave the Revizto application and move into your 3D modeling software such as Revit. And when you downloaded your Revizto application, you also automatically downloaded the Revizto add-in on Revit. All you need to do is open Revit and open the model you would like to upload. Now that you are in Revit and your Revit model is open, all you need to do is go ahead and click the Revizto 5 tool on the toolbar here, and the next step is just clicking Publish to Revizto. This is going to open a dialog box, so we'll just wait 1 second here. Alright, now this is going to let you review the mapping between source models and Revizto models. I don't have to make any changes here because we already have all of our models uploaded in Revizto. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now on here, the publishing settings, this allows you to select what is going to be published in Revizto. Now it's important to make sure the sheets are checked because these are the sheets that link your Revit model to Revizto, and you also want to make sure that you're publishing your 3D models, the whole reason you are uploading into Revizto. Now you can also check things like grids, viewpoints, areas, lines, and rooms. These just help to make it a little easier navigating in Revizto. Since I'm no longer uploading models into Revizto, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel, but you guys will hit publish. So once you end up publishing, it will take you directly back into Revizto. Once the model upload is complete, you will be brought to this page, which is the Load/Unload Models tool. Now this allows you to select or deselect which models you want to be populated in your 3D page. And using this tool, you can also create presets, and this is quite simple. You just go ahead and select which models you want to be populated and which ones you do not. Click the gear icon, click Create Preset, and then you will name the preset. Now I do recommend creating a few of these views just to make it easier going through Revizto, and some of these views might be structural only, architectural, MEPs, or you can separate out any of the MEPs as well. After completing your uploads for the 2D sheets and the 3D models, you can now begin managing your models and the project as a whole. In order to do that, you just need to click Edit. You can go into first Project Properties. Now this will give you a chance to change the project name if you need to, change the project owner, or implement levels, grids, or Revizto zones, which can really help in identifying issue locations and specific element locations. You are also able to add a thumbnail here. You just have to click change and upload it from your files. Now after the project properties, you can move on to the model management. Let's go ahead and click here, and this will look very similar to the load unload models tool. This will show you all the models that have been uploaded to the project, and in here you will be able to change the names or delete models from Revizto. And renaming them is actually very helpful. As you can see, some of them can have very long names that you can't view easily, especially on the mobile version. So I do recommend renaming to a shorter, more concise name. And that'll just make for an easier viewing experience. And one more way that you can help with managing your project is going into the integrations. Now you can integrate any of these apps. Procore can be especially useful when you connect the issues to RFIs and when you are receiving new drawing revisions. Once you are done with the project properties, model management, and integrations, you're going to want to move back into the 2D Sheets tab. And once you're in here, just go ahead and open up a drawing. And in here you can see there are multiple tools. This just allows you to go back to the gallery. You can move forward between available sheets. You can compare two sheets. You just go here, click the other sheet you want to compare with, click compare here, and you will get a red and blue comparison between the two drawings. This works really well when you're comparing two of the same sheets when you're trying to see what revisions were made. Now you can also export any of these sheets to a PDF. You can create issues on these 2D sheets. I will get into this later, along with stamps. And the next tool is the ruler. And so you can go ahead and pan through. You can set the ruler. Once you go to the ruler, you will have to calibrate the sheet. So you want to go ahead and just click entire sheet. You want to view what the scale is for each sheet. So I can see it's 1/8 of an inch to 1 foot. Go ahead and click here and click done. Once that is done, you will be able to use the ruler tool. You can simply view in, snap between 2 points, and get the exact measurement. Now you can also view areas, very simple. You view polylines. You can connect to multiple points here. And the last one is going to be angles. And so this just allows you to view whatever angle it is you're making here. Go ahead and finish deleting these as they're not necessary for this, and go ahead and back out. And you will need to calibrate each sheet individually, and I think the last and most important tool on the 2D sheets is setting up 3D overlay. The first thing this asks you to do is to set the area you want to be viewed on the 3D model. I'm just going to go ahead and take this default, click done, and then you're going to cut a section plane where you want the sheet to overlay. Go ahead and fly over to get a better view. I'm just going to keep this simple and say this is the section cut I want to go with, but if you're going with, a demo plan or an architectural floor plan or something, you may want to bring it all the way down, but just to keep it simple, I'm going to stick with this. Go ahead and click done. And once that is done, the sheet is going to be displayed over the model, and you can adjust the sheet using these little yellow balls up here. And you just want to try and line up the walls. This does take a little bit of time, but it's pretty easy because you will be able to see exactly where you should line these items up. Once that's done, just go ahead and click done. And the next one is going to be the planes in which you want to be able to view. Do you want to see more from the bottom, more from the top? I think it's easy if you are just beneath or above the sheet, and the bottom just so you can see the rest of the building. Now once that's done, you've completed the overlay. You can go ahead and just click right on there, and it'll bring you directly to the sheet overlay. Continuing on with the 2D exploration, one of the most useful tools after the 3D overlay is set up is being able to pull up the sheets and click the 3D jump button so you can zoom in anywhere on the sheet. Let's just say over here, click, and it will bring you there in the model. I think that's a very useful tool, making it easier to navigate for those that may not be as experienced with navigating 3D softwares. Exploring the 2D sheets, we're going to go ahead and move into the 3D model. Now, before we start getting into any of these tools, let's go over the navigation. So the navigation is fairly simple. It's very similar to any computer games. You use W, A, S, and D. A to go to the left, D to go to the right, W to go forward, and S to go back. Q will bring you down, and E will bring you up. And you can also use the scroll wheel if you are using a mouse to zoom in and to zoom out. And if you hold down on right click, you can pan without moving on the actual project. This is very useful if you don't want to accidentally click on an element. You can just right click and pan around completely. Now also, I'm going to go ahead and zoom up to this front door and show you how to actually navigate when you are inside the building. So you want to first go down to the bottom left and click this symbol of a guy walking, and then you are placed onto the finished floor level, and you can actually walk through the entire project. You can go through any doors, so you can walk the entire finished model. This is great for QC walks. I've done a few of these. Anytime a new model is uploaded, it's very important you go ahead and jump down into a QC walk, and I just find it best to actually go inside the model, walk slow, and look through all of the rooms. And here I'll use multiple of the tools, including viewpoints, map, and rooms. I will get into that in a little bit. But again, just walking through is great, and when you're done walking, just go ahead and click again to get out, and then you can just go up and fly through walls, and you can easily navigate using either one, flying or walking. Let's go back to the home view. You do that just by clicking this little house symbol near the bottom right. So anywhere you are on the model, if you want to go back to the front home view, just click that and you'll be brought right back to here. Now, when you're looking to create viewpoints, which is this first tool here, you can actually see that I've made a few in the past, but let me show you how to go ahead and create one. So let's just fly to the right side of the building here. This isn't anything too useful to the actual coordination aspect of the project. This is just to show you guys how to create the viewpoints. So you want to go down the bottom left, click Create Viewpoint. Viewpoint is automatically saved, Viewpoint 5. So let's show you how that works. Go back to the home view. It's going a little slow right now. Click back on Viewpoints, Viewpoint 5. It will take you directly to where you took that viewpoint. You can also update these viewpoints. If you go to another location and click Update, it'll update to whatever you are viewing on your screen at that moment. Now, I do think it's important that you organize your viewpoints. Mine are a little disorganized right now, but I think that you should definitely create folders and name them so you can have views on important coordination items. For this project, it's going to be a concrete vault, a clean room. So creating those views can just make it easier to navigate. You can just click and boom, you teleport right to where you need to be. Now, let's see how to get back to the home view. We'll go back right there. And you can see you can actually set as home viewpoint. You just have to click the little house there. So let's just click X here, get out of the viewpoints. And one more item that I should have showed you at the beginning right here is if you just click on an element, you can actually go down and hide these elements. You can view them in transparency, and you can view them just by themselves. You can hide them like that. Show all items. Let me show you a better example. Let me go into the roof here. Say you want to hide this RTU here. All you have to do, just click this right here. Oh, sorry, that's a little laggy right there. So you want to actually click this. It's a box with an eye with the line crossed through it. You will hide it right there. If you want to view it again, just click Show All, hide, and it's gone. This allows you to see through things like walls. If you want to, hide the wall, you can do that temporarily. And you can also save this as a viewpoint with this RTU hidden. Just go down, create viewpoint, will bring you right here, and the RTU will be hidden. And again, to get it back, all you have to do is just click Show All, and it's back right there. Let's jump back to the home viewpoint, and we'll get into the next tool here. And that is going to be the map. So the map is excellent for navigating the project. Again, it is a little slow trying to run a video with the software. Just a little bit. All right, so you want to pull yourself up to the project. You can see all of the grid lines that are here. These are pulled directly from Revit. You can see whenever I publish the project from Revit into Revizto, you have the option to put these grid lines in, and then once you're in Revizto, you can activate them. And then these grid lines really just allow you to locate elements more easily, locate issues, so it'll tell you exactly where they are in the project. And you can see on the right side of the screen, you have levels. Current level is, exactly where I'm at on the screen. You can go to the top of parapet, you can go to top of wall, you can go down to finished floor elevation, and you can go down to the grade level. And let's just say we're down at finished floor and we want to get onto the site and we want to see, just the front of the building. Just click in, it'll teleport you right there. And again, that just makes it way easier, trying to get through the project. You don't have to simply fly through everywhere and try to get to the exact spot you want. You can just simply click through on the map and it'll teleport you to that location. Jumping back into the map view, again, buffering here, so bear with me. Once you're in the map view, you can zoom in and it will actually start to give you the room names, just making it, again, even easier. Let's say you were looking at a drawing sheet, needed to get into buffer 143, and there you go. Now you're in, you can look through and find whatever you were needing to find. Let's jump back into the home view once again. And next we're going to go into the rooms tool. I kind of already prefaced on this with the map. You can zoom in, find the rooms, but here you just have all the rooms listed, and you can even search for specific rooms if you don't feel like scrolling through. Just type it in here, it'll pop up. But again, you can just click on one of these. Let's go do pet storeroom. It'll just bring you right in here. And again, that just makes it really easy for trying to get through the project. Instead of having to fly around to a specific room without room names listed, just click on rooms and you can teleport exactly where you need to be. And one useful on-site tool that was brought up in some of these Revizto kickoff meetings that I told you about, if you go here, you can generate a QR code for any of the rooms. So the room you're currently in right here, or generate QR codes for all rooms. So you could go on site, print them, and post them on the wall so that when anyone comes in, let's say they need to view what it's going to look like in the finished model, just scan the QR code and it'll bring you directly into the room and you can see exactly what you need to look for. And one more time, let's jump back to the home viewpoint and we'll jump into the next tool here. Going to be the 2D 3D split. So just go ahead and click this. It'll open up one of these sheets that you have uploaded into your project. For me, it pulled up the architectural site plan. If you want to change that, just go through the drop down, select from the gallery. And you do have to make sure that these sheets have been overlaid with the 3D model. I showed you this previously in the video, so go ahead and check that back if you need to. But let's just go right into this tool. So this is especially great for on-site coordination. Let's say you have a superintendent or some subcontractors who aren't able to maneuver the model effectively, and they're really struggling to get through QC walks or just trying to find locations. You can pull up the 2D 3D split, and let's say you're trying to find a problem here in the buffer room. You can't get there on the model. Just pull up the 2D 3D split, click once, and you will be teleported to the location. You can drag this to change, and you can still just as easily maneuver on here, and you can still see that your icon is being moved, so you can see exactly where you are on the 2D sheet, just making it a little easier for some people to figure out where they are on the project, because some of these models can get a little complicated. Again, just reiterating this tool's on-site capabilities, especially with the mobile version of Revizto. And now, speaking of that, I do want to show you a quick video that was taken on-site during construction. It was before a majority of the work had been done, but I think this will be quite cool for you guys to see. So here's the video. I just want to go ahead and play this for you. And it was taken by the project manager on site. You see that it's a pretty empty site at the moment, but once you calibrate the Revizto mobile application to the physical site, you can go ahead and do this, using the 4D capabilities. You can go ahead and phase in and phase out the actual finished model. So being able to walk the site and see the completed work being done is definitely just another coordination tool that was really great for us. Sometimes the drawings can't, get the point across that you need to. So being able to really show owners or clients, the capabilities of the software and the lengths we're willing to go to deliver a good project, they're really shown with tools like this and, effort on the GC's end. Here is going to be our ruler tool. And let me go ahead and just go to the back of the building here, and we'll give you a good example of what this tool is capable of. Now, it is just a very simple measurement tool, but it is very dynamic in its capabilities. And the reason I want to go back here to show you guys, so this is an actual example of how we used it. We had some guys coming onto site who were concerned about getting, some of the equipment, some of the booms, lifts, skid steers, getting them into site through these roller doors. And we also had to end up using a dumpster behind these roller doors here. So we were taking the skid steer and dumping out some of the concrete we had from excavation. And so we need to be able to measure how tall these roller doors were, how tall this one was, so we can make sure we can get into site and get the materials off of the site. So I just talked about that example a little bit. Let's actually get into the tool here. So this first one just allows you to drag each end. Let's say you want to go corner to corner. You just easily drag each end across the corner. You got 18 feet across. You want to take this directly above. There we go, and it snaps to the nearest surface. So this is going off of this horizontal surface, and now it's going off the vertical surface here. And we also have the laser ranger. This one's another great one. Again, the snapping feature is just there for your convenience. So whatever surface you're on, let's say we're down here on the finished floor or on this ramp, this is the base, and it's just going to shoot directly up into the nearest surface. So right now it's going off of this little cover right here. And once we scoot it forward inside this entrance, it will snap. So we have 14 feet here, and that's when we're able to realize that we have plenty of space to get equipment in. And then over on this side, you can see the same effect. It can go off the vertical wall here, 10 feet there, same thing. Now you can also measure minimum distance, such as you select the two objects you want to know the minimum distance between, hit enter, and it will run it for you. You also just do a simple elevation, so wherever you pull the marker to, it's going to tell you the elevation at that point, fairly simple. And last, you can also measure the slope of items, so this is especially useful for, measuring the slope on any pipes if you have anything like that to be done. Let's go back to the home, and we'll go into our next tool. All right, next up, we're going to have our section tool. This is probably my personal favorite tool that we've used on this project. I mean, it was used on every single coordination call we had. I'll kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of how our calls went. We would first start off just with the modeling team we had. They would pull up the model. They would be the ones navigating. It was a little harder on my end, being further away and not having the best internet connection. So they'd be the ones that were running the model. They'd pull it up, and so let me get back on the movement here. Um, for the first portion of the coordination calls that we've had, they were all focused on this vault that we have in here. Let me go ahead, move this over a little bit. So what we would do is just easily set up the section. Let's just say we were doing a box. We'd set up our section box so that we could easily see the vault and not have to deal with any of the other, systems that are going on in this project, because it gets pretty crowded and pretty difficult to actually focus on one item with, all this duct, all the electrical work, structural. So really being able to isolate just helped with our call efficiency, and just being able to see the problem, identify it quickly, just made it a little easier for everybody. Once we have a nice little box set up and we kind of look at what we want to see here, don't have to worry about any of the other distracting items on the model here. We were able to go through with each of our trades and ask them, the questions or concerns, any clashes that they found on site that are reflected in the model. You see there's some little ones with fire lines. That's nothing major. But being able to talk to each of the trades and kind of show them what the finished product is going to look like, and letting them voice their concerns really lets us avoid these problems in the future, because you never want to come up to a problem during installation or during construction. All it does is slow it down. But when you're able to model the project, you can talk it out with your trade partners, and you're able to discover these issues and solve them way ahead of time. And this really saves, you can't exaggerate how much time this really saves on a project. So yeah, let's talk about some of the actual content. One of the coordination calls that we would do was for the drop zone. And you can kind of see a little bit of what I'm talking about. In between these steel posts, we have this lid that we're going to be dropping a machine through into the vault. So this required a lot of coordination and making sure that there's nothing in the way, nothing clashing with the drop path. But what we did see in one of these calls was that this filter box right here, it's going to be in this lime green color. It was originally located underneath this 8-post structure. Let me pull this out, give you a little bit of a better view on it. It was underneath this 8-post structure, and the issue with that was, maintenance on the filter box. You can't pull the filters when it was under here. There wasn't enough room to get there or pull out the filters, and what that resulted in was having to find a new way to have it set up above this vault while also staying out of the drop zone. So what we came up with was having it come around this way with the filter box on this right side rather than the left. And we also did have to look out for this railing. So we needed a safety rail up above this vault because there will be maintenance workers up here. And so making sure that this filter box was not only avoiding this fence line, but also staying out of the drop zone was, important for us. And, having this model was really what allowed us to discover that and even create a possible solution. I have been talking a lot about our coordination and how we've kind of used this section tool, but let me actually show you guys a better picture on how to use it yourselves. Let me just go back to the home here, kind of reset for you guys. All right. So I think it'll be easier if I just fly up onto the roof for you here. And you can see right now, all I have is the plane selected. And what that allows you to do is just cut horizontal or vertical planes. Simply drag the icon down to cut down and up for up. And if you want to cut the side of the building here, you can do the same. This bottom will just snap to whatever surface, and you can do the same. Drag to cut and drag to bring it all back. And not only do you have this plane, but I did show you before was having this box. I'll show you kind of some of the other options with this. So obviously you have your box, and once you click, it'll cut out everything else. but you can drag from any one of these sides and expand or compact the box. Now here you also can just simply have a scale set, so when you pull, it just expands on the entire project, doesn't move. Or this one here just allows you to move the entire box by itself, and it will just only show what is inside. So you can see here, drag it this way, it begins cutting off from that end and extending here, or drag it this way as well. Alright, and that's going to be your ruler and your section tool. Now we're moving into the issues tool. Now, to first get into that, you will need to set up the stamps. Actually, let me go back really quick. Just click this and click X. Discard. And so whenever you first click on stamps, it won't look the same. It will give you the option to set up the demo set of stamps, and you will want to go ahead and click that, and you want to check the box for USA and Canada. And then this will give you these drop downs. So these are the way all of the issues can be categorized. So let's say you have an electrical clash, you can just go ahead and put this stamp on it, and just makes it much easier. And even for design, just makes it a lot easier viewing. And also you can even go ahead and go into the stamp management right here. And this will allow you to a lot of new abilities that you wouldn't have otherwise if you didn't set up the stamps. So when you go into, let's say, Architect General Design, so immediately when you set up that stamp, no one is assigned to it, but you can come into the stamp management and set an assignee. So anyone that's on the project, you can set them as an assignee. So whenever that stamp is associated with an issue, they will get notification and they will be the ones responsible. You can also set watchers, the color of the stamp, a deadline for when they need it. You can also set tags if it's going to be viewed by the public, and you can also set just the type, standard issue, and that's what we're going to leave it as. But the stamp management is really great just in terms of having the coordination aspect. You don't want to have to send someone an email and say, hey, have you taken a look at the issue in the model? No, you just want to be able to set the stamp to the issue and they get immediate notification and they can go to look at it and see what the issue is. And not only can you set, assignee, type, deadlines, but you can also set the priority. Is it going to be critical, major, minor, trivial? It just depends on what the issue is. And also, if you don't like these stamps, you can change them. You can add new stamp templates, or you can just add new categories. Let's say, this doesn't fit your project. Just add a couple new ones that, you think will fit best in your project. And then once your stamps are set up, you can go ahead and click back. You can close out of the stamp mode, and you can go ahead and get into issues. So whenever you click issue, you will be given the drop down of stamps. Let's actually go back here so I can actually give you a better example of this. Let's go over to these RTUs on the roof. We'll go ahead and select this one here. Create issue. Let's say that this is a mechanical clash. There's nothing actually clashing, but we'll just put that there for now. And you do get multiple options. You can do a pen to, mark up or circle where the actual issue is happening. You can do a call out. You can add text and say, hey, I need you to look at this. This item is supposed to be beneath this one, things along those lines. You can add other symbols if you need to. You can also adjust the distance that the stamp shows from. So if you put it too high, you won't be able to see it. Too low, it might be too big. Then you'll just go ahead, create issue, and that will be set on the project now. So now see, we have the mechanical clash pulled up with all the other ones. And what's good about having this issue tracker on here is that you can filter them. So you can filter by current issues, completed. See, we have one completed up here. This is closed because it's not a real issue. Reported by me, open issues, or just watched by me. I usually just keep it on all issues. We don't have a lot on here. It just makes it easier that way. You can share them. You can export them into an Excel file. So again, just great tools. And even on here, you can set up a chat so you can be communicating with whoever is a stakeholder on the project or whoever is an assignee on this issue and you need to have some communication with them. I do want to go back to the grids, rooms, and levels. This was something that you set up at the beginning, and this is where it comes back into play. Because if you didn't have grids or levels set up, you would just have an issue, but no exact location besides maybe the room. But having the grids, apologize for that, it's my dog. But having the grids and the levels, it allows you to see exactly where the issue is, so you can immediately go to that location. Even while you were on the issue tracker, you still have the ability to use the section tool, the ruler tool. You can add another issue, and over here, you can add the 3D view or 2D view so you can see both locations for this issue. And they will show up on the map as well whenever you zoom in. And the last note for the issues is that if you do have Procore integration, you can link these issues to RFIs. So that's another great resource. Not only do you have an assignee on here, but they will be pulled directly into Procore just to keep a good, strong workflow going. All right, and let's move on now from the issues, and we will go back to the home screen. The next item here is going to be the object tree. So this really just shows all of the source models in the project. When you click on one, it will highlight all the elements in that model file. So this is a great tool for creating search sets if you want to search for items specifically in architectural, electrical, fire protection, etc. This is the way that you're going to have to find those sets. And from this object tree, similarly to the load unload models, if you right click, you can load or unload. If you don't want to see the architectural, just hit unload models. And just like before, you can generate a QR code. So if you scan this QR code, it will only display the items in the architectural. Now let's move into the element properties. So we can close out of that. And once you zoom in, there is this option right here. But you can also just double click and you are able to see any of the object or the object properties. You can pull this out if you want a better view. You can choose which items you want to favorite and which will show up directly right here. But this is really great for seeing where the object came from and what kind of properties this object has. So all the information is pulled directly from the Revit file. And you can also use these properties to search for specific items. Like if you want to search for just walls, you go ahead and do that here, but we will get into that in just a second. A useful tool using the properties is, let's say you have like a big ticket item that you want to make sure is put in place correctly and all the dimensions are accurate. You can go ahead and generate the QR code. And so as soon as you scan that QR code, you will be pulled directly in front of that object and the properties will be displayed. That's why it's important to have favorites up here because you don't want to have to click through everything and search through everything. You can set the favorites to have, the category to show up, the family to show up, the item type, the source file. So as soon as you scan that QR code, that information will be displayed for you. Now let's go back to the home screen here and we will move on to search sets, which is an extremely valuable tool in Revizto. Getting into the search sets, you first need to make sure that you have the binoculars, the find objects selected. And what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to add a condition. And you're going to add a property condition. And what you can do from here is go into select property. And the easiest way to go through and create them for, let's say all the model files you uploaded, just go and type in source file, click item source file, enter value, and then you can go ahead and select any of the model files you have uploaded. So just go ahead and do the structural. And all you have to do next is hit save/update, and that will now be a new search set available for you. And in these search sets, I already have them created. So we'll go to structure, and it will highlight all of the elements in the structural model. And what you can also do is set them for each individual category in the project, and let me show you how to do that next. So you can go ahead and close out of find objects, and then what you really need to do is, sorry, I'm a little laggy here, but you're going to want to go up and find an object. I'm going to go ahead and use this RTU. Double click, and you're going to want to go down to the category, mechanical equipment. You're going to want to right click, and you can create these for individual items. Let's just do the individual first. So you want to hit create new search. And so everything mechanical equipment that is an RTU will be displayed in that spot. If you want to get more specific and only do RTU2, there's only going to be one, but this can be for any type of element on the project. We'll find something specific to that element. Let's just do the family name. You want to right click that, add to current search, and then it adds this and property. So this will search for anything that is mechanical equipment and with the family name RTU2. If you go ahead and click find all, just found the one on the project and highlighted one. For whatever number of elements are on the project, it will display that number down here. And this is very useful if you want to do, just a simple quantity takeoff to match some numbers, then this is the perfect tool for that. Now, the way that I prefer to do the search sets is just go ahead and clear that out. And you'll want to go down to, let's just do category mechanical equipment. Let's do batch create search sets. What's that going to do is it's going to create a search set for every category that was in Revit. And for you guys, you want to create a new folder, type the folder name. For me, I just did Revit categories, and then you can add a prefix if you would like. You can add a specific category or specific property, but you just go ahead and click create once the new folder name is created. And what that will do is give you this right here. You will be given this folder and it will create a drop down with every category, so you can go ahead and find them. Let's go for flex ducts. Actually, let's just do regular ducts. It will find all duct on the project. We have 884 ducts. And once you have that search set, you can use it to help you move into creating appearance templates, and that's going to be the next thing we cover. So let's get into that. So now that we have search sets for all of our categories, we're going to want to go back to the home. Just going back to the home just to reset and make it a little easier for us all. What you want to do is go into Appearance Profiler. Once you're in Appearance Profiler, whatever is displayed, just go ahead and hit the broom, and you can go and do Add Rule, Search Set, and it will display all the search sets you have. Let's go in here and find walls. Here we have walls, select, and you can select the operation to hide it, isolate, and transparency, and you can even change the color. Let's go ahead and hide all walls and click apply, and there we go. All the walls are hidden, and you can save this as an appearance template right here. And once those templates are saved, you can view them all in here. So you see here we have structural only. Here we have it with windows displayed, and I believe on the interior, let's just go in and check. Yeah, so all the walls are transparent. It just makes it easier to view, so you don't need to constantly worry about hiding walls. You can just sit in here and look straight through the walls to see if there's any ducts, conduits running through the wall, and you need to make sure it's in the correct location. And even after the template is created, you could go through and you could change, from 50% transparency to hiding it completely, save and update existing. There we go. Let's hit apply, and it will hide all of the interior walls. So you can make these appearance templates as detailed, as specific as you would like. It really just depends on the project and what the goal is of this 3D modeling. All right, and one last time, I'm going to jump back to the home screen, close out of these, and you do need to remember to share these appearance templates with your team members, otherwise they won't be able to view them. Is going to be the Clash automation. I'm not going to dive into that, but if you are interested in that tool, there's plenty of videos on the Revizto help website that can, easily explain to you how to use it and show you its capabilities. Mainly, I mean, it's exactly how it sounds. It automates the Clash system on Revizto, so you can automatically run clashes between the structural model and the electrical model, structural, mechanical, architectural, and plumbing. So, as long as you have those models uploaded in Revizto, you can run an automatic clash detection between those two models. Um, Now, while I'm on the topic of automation, I do also want to talk about the Revizto scheduler. So that's another app that's downloaded automatically when you get Revizto. Basically, what that does, it allows you to automate your uploads into the Revizto software. So let's say you're doing model updates once a week, and so every Friday you have a new model file that can be uploaded. You can set up the scheduler to every Friday at 10 p.m. The model will be uploaded from Revit straight into Revizto and keep all of the upload settings that you had previously set. So that's just another great tool. Again, if you want to become a little more versed with that item, please go ahead and search on the Revizto help website. There's countless videos, Clash Automation, Scheduler, anything Revizto, they have videos for it. Now that we're done with the Revizto content side of the video, I do want to take a little bit of time and talk about some of the coordination processes and some of the other tools we visited throughout the life cycle of the semester. So jumping into the coordination process, so we had coordination meetings every Monday and Tuesday. Um, Monday was mainly model coordination. That was focused on the vault, especially the underground work early on. There was a lot of underground piping, going to the machine and going to the various electrical equipment inside the vault and just outside of it. So we needed to make sure that was all sequenced correctly and we have it laid out correctly as well. And these Monday meetings actually have began to shift now to cover the clean room and the drywall. Now that's just as we move forward in construction, that's kind of the stuff we're leading into, and even some drawing changes, like expanding the clean room location. That's just resulting in more coordination. So just going ahead and shifting these meetings to whatever kind of the quote unquote hot topic is, definitely really helps streamlining the process as a whole. Um, and then kind of going into the Tuesday meetings, those covered the drop zone coordination. And mainly what that was is the crane coordination, roof logistics, and any subcontractor concerns. I talked about this a little earlier on, how we have a machine that we're going to be dropping through our roof hatch. That's over the back. I can show you this really quick. But since we're going to be flying in a machine there, we really need to make sure that it's open and we're not going to have any clashes, because this is roughly a $2 million machine, and it's the reason this whole building is being constructed. So we're going to make sure that is completely safe and we have no issues that we're going to run into there. So having those meetings weekly just allows us to run through and really be sure of the dates that we have set. Um, um, Having our dates set correctly, knowing what we're going to be picking, how much it weighs, has just been really helpful for us. Um, So really just having these two sets of meetings every week has allowed us to bring numerous issues to light and allowed us to generate RFIs and solutions before the problem reaches the site. So just avoiding these delays entirely, that's what having, some of these 3D models allows you to do. Without this model, these coordination meetings wouldn't be nearly as efficient. We wouldn't discover nearly as many issues, and we'd be having a lot more on-site delays. So really this whole process has streamlined the entire project. Next thing I want to cover is the extra tools that we visited to kind of supplement this 3D modeling. So some of the project scenarios could not be completely coordinated using Revizto. And what this led up to was just a couple of software demo meetings. And the main one that was the most beneficial was CM Builder. It's a 3D and 4D site logistics planner and simulator. And the main objective with this meeting was to find a tool to help streamline the crane coordination on the project. I'll kind of give you a simple rundown of what we're kind of going through here before I show you an example that we got on CM Builder. So we're going to have our crane coming around this back area here and doing the crane picks for the RTUs back on this side of the roof and the cyclotron machine through the roof hatch. But throughout the two demos I did with CM Builder, I was able to discover it's a really great tool, and they were able to help me create this demo scenario. So let me go ahead and pull up this video. So here is the CM Builder video. Just go ahead and play this. I mean, you can probably tell just from these first couple seconds of video, I'm not too familiar with navigating in CM Builder. It took me just a second to zoom in here, but bear with me, and the video will play through a couple of times. So realistically, through 2 meetings with them, they were able to help me set this up, and we were able to even integrate our Revizto model, as you can see here, onto the Google Earth site. So we have access to the entire site, and we're able to see, where we can bring a crane in. See, this was a potential spot. Just bring it in through the back there, setting it all up, and you see you can animate the crane right there, how it was actually doing the cyclotron drop. You can animate having the workers on the roof, animate the setup of the crane, being pulled onto site, being pulled off a site. And this is just one scenario. So this was for the cyclotron drop. Now you can create scenarios like this for everything, for each of the RTUs, any crane drop, but realistically we were able to see that this wasn't the best tool for the project. And the main reason was because we really just opted to go with a simpler solution. This was in favor of cost and time. We just made a simple crane pick matrix. This was done using Excel. It contains the items being picked, the responsible contractors, item weights, and crane pick dates. Let me actually go ahead and pause this video and go back. So yeah, it has the crane pick date, and then this became a live document that's updated, as schedule changes, as crane operators change, crane companies change, any changes from the subcontractors, they send it to us and we update the matrix. And now just having the chance to just sit through the software demos has been a great experience. You get a good example of a cost-benefit analysis when you're looking at which tools are going to work for the project and which ones will not. And you also gain exposure to all these great tools. Now, let's say you're a project manager or superintendent in the future and you have a project, a lot of crane activity or very crowded site, and you need a tool to help you find a solution with the logistics and the crane pick coordination. So you can just look back and remember you demoed with a tool like CM Builder, and it would be the perfect tool to help you find a solution for that problem. Thank you all for sitting through this video and taking a chance to learn from me about Revizto as a 3D BIM tool and learn about some of the coordination process that kind of fits in through BIM. So again, thank you very much and have a good rest of your semester.